You know, there are those movies where I already assumed I reviewed them considering how many times I've referenced them on the show. Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare City is one of those movies. Look, the movie's IMDb has a collection of so many of my references, it hasn't even updated to include the one I made in the Porky's Revenge review. I guess that means we should get a reference to the ending out of the way early. That's over with and I had an appropriately stupid look on my face, we can continue. Yes, this is a very important and very serious Italian-Spanish co-production that warns of the dangers of nuclear power. You know, in the same way Rat's Night of Terror warned us that nuclear activity will lead to rat people. Sometimes it's called one of the first zombies running their asses off movie. However, the director Lenzi doesn't really consider it a zombie movie, and more that they're radioactive mutants with a thirst for blood that happen to look like someone took a dump on the toxic Avenger's face. This is only going to be the most serious critique of nuclear power and journalism. It's from writer Piero Rignoli. He wrote Burial Ground, Nights of Terror, and some other movies like Sword of the Barbarians, Gunan, King of the Barbarians, Defeat of the Barbarians, and what about The Barbarians? No, Ruggero Deodato did that one. He made a different cannibal movie. Umberto Lenzi here did Cannibal Ferox. Get it right. Which title are we gonna get here? There's a lot of alternate titles for this. Oh, okay. Nightmare City, the most popular of all the titles of the flick. Sometimes it's called Attack of the Zombies, Incubo, Invasion of the Atomic Zombies, Zombie 3, of course, and there's the dubbed VHS version, City of the Walking Dead. While it got that release in the States in 1983, over in Italy, they got this on December 19th, 1980. They get all the best Christmas releases! The opening shows that there is a city, but the movie is more so known for running dead and not walking dead. Best change it to Nightmare City, even if it's a slight spoiler for the ending. This may be a graphic movie, but it can still be in art theaters. Look, it's shot by Hans Berman. He shot Open Your Eyes and Thesis. And nothing good ever comes from a steamy plant in one of these.
Top of the news this evening is speculation behind a Department of Health announcement about a radioactive spill.
Okay, what kind of radioactive spill? One that will make my dick melt off, or one where I'll become a superhero? On the case is reporter Dean Miller, where they considered Franco Nero for the role, but decided to go with Hugo Stiglitz for his distinct look that says, "If I get one more bottle of scotch and a pack of cigarettes, I can finish this story on time." You got the best dubbed voice, Dean. We need you front and center.
Just do what you're told. If possible, sir. Only if possible.
See, being exposed to radioactive waste just changes your voice to sound more American. Now he's ready to head off to the airport to interview the world's most highly regarded nuclear scientist, landing any minute.
What have you got?
Unidentified trace. What's the bearing?
777, roger.
He's out there somewhere. We're pretty lax on the airport rules in 1980. Just fly her on here. We'll sort this mess out later.
It's a Hercules military transport. That's strange. It doesn't have any markings on it.
We'll get its license plate number when we get closer, but we at least know the in-flight movie was Lenzi's film Messalina vs. the Son of Hercules. This is why it didn't show up on the radar. The plane is camouflaged. They got some security here. Wait for the zombies to come out the door before we start shooting. Considering it's a plane full of flesh-eating radioactive monsters hopped up on speed, they remembered enough about their flight school in order to safely land the plane. I've never seen passengers look so jet-lagged in my life.
It's Professor Hagenbeck.
Guys, it's easy. We just find out who all on board had the fish. Believe me when I say that this escalates quickly. Good lord, not only are they eating our brains, but they're fantastic with guns and knives. This movie skipped right through Night of the Living Dead and just cut straight to Land of the Dead. Dean's morning vitamins are still working strong enough. Perfectly normal, calm reaction to all this mayhem going on.
I don't believe it. My God.
He's acting like they all just simply missed their layover. They can get everywhere quick. Who cares how they got up to the tower? The air traffic controllers are all dead. But now that that's over with, we can dance! In this time period, even if the infected are all new to the area and have just flown in, they will find the nearest sexy TV aerobics show. Somewhere Axel from Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is watching all this go down live. Don't interrupt, it's my favorite show!
Interrupt the program. We're transmitting a special news flash. Am I in charge of the broadcast or not?
How is he the only one who knows about this?
Whatever you says, massa. Your wish is my command.
Also, sir, you're fired. And what station is this?
At the end of the news flash, we will return with our regular program. Thank you.
Why are you telling me about the massacre with a sexy voice? And I'm still trying to watch the dancers.
Oh, shit. Just when I was gonna do my voice close-up.
Oh, shut up, will ya? I want to listen to it.
I'm not sure why the movie interrupted a knockoff of Fame, but I'm glad it did. The military is still trying to keep this contained.
What the hell are you doing? Why did you interrupt my broadcast?
Now, don't get mad at me. It's not my fault.
What? Some crazy guy called in telling us that your reporting is causing bugs to leak out of our heads. Like Lenzi's Eaten Alive, it's still the genre of Mel Ferrer is gonna pop up somewhere so we can put his name high up on the credits. The movie is also about press freedom to at least warn us that a monster will slit our throats.
I'm suspending you from all duties.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay then. You make a good argument. Back to work. There's still time to call his wife and warn her that she'll be so dead.
Mrs. Miller! Mrs. Miller!
Well, I tried, boss. Gotta say, she was a bitch to work with anyway. And we got another random cutaway. Here's why the movie went over budget. The scenes kept buying hookers. This is like watching General Turgison get called into the war room if at first there was a shitload of nudity in a sex scene. And the scene still manages to get weirder.
What's wrong? Don't you like it?
We've decided to woo in the art critic world.
Every time I look at it, I get a feeling
Of death. Is that what you were going to say?
What if I told you, honey? You need to take the pills the doctor prescribed before you start sculpting your zombie heads. We'll be right back. The TV studio paid good money for the Nightmare City dancers. We'll get to the deadly outbreak soon enough, but our home viewers need to get their cardio in first if they're gonna compete with these zombies.
What the hell? Stop!
Now that we're back, are the commercial breaks still on? This is some very calming music that's playing during another scene of total chaos that makes me ask, does any place have security in this universe? Never mind breaking in, it's like they were already just there.
holy shit. What the hell's going on down there?
Oh, it's another Richard O'Brien TV satire. I recognize that face. I never thought I'd see the version of Shock Treatment that's X-rated for violence. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I probably can't show the breasts being punctured with radioactive swords. He's still very calm about this.
We're being attacked. For God's sakes, send somebody fast.
Did you say fast?
Who the hell are you? Ted Fast? The one and only.
I've seen Ted Fast fight giant snakes. These zombies will be a cakewalk. Really, you just throw some fire on them and slam their fingers in a door and you're good. If the city is gonna keep on going bananas, the only one who can help get them out of this situation is Herbie the Love Bug. Herbie was made with the good kind of radiation poisoning. And why are the hospitals still fine?
Well, how are you feeling today, Phil?
I feel like somebody who's waiting for the hatchet guy to chop off his head, Doctor.
Well, now.
That foreshadowing is so on the nose, I'm surprised your nose wasn't bitten off. Seriously, she is cursing her patients.
I feel a lot better, but I can't play soccer yet.
Before you know it, you're going to be running up and down that soccer field, making one goal after another, really.
I take it his leg is gonna be chopped off. Oh, he keeps going.
Last night I had this nightmare. It was a big explosion. It was right here in the hospital. My leg got cut off.
Also, in my nightmare, I had the same dubbed voice as the It Stinks guy from Pod People. We have, about 6 or 7 people in charge. Get on it, fellas!
Our latest reports show the presence of attackers here, here, and here.
We hear you loud and clear, General. We need to go north of these risk pieces you set up. What? They're wasting time elsewhere.
The autopsy categorically excludes an extraterrestrial being.
You thought they were aliens? I also like the guilty camera angles.
Have been subjected to strong doses of atomic radiation, which increase their physical capacities beyond the norm.
Do I tell them now that my wife and I may have spilled some radiation when having sex on top of the barrels? This is a lot of dialogue and military speak for what ultimately leads to just shoot them in the head.
The order to every soldier and police officer is aim for the brain.
Yes, it is important that they get my rhyming right. I stayed up all night coming with that. General George C. Knott has got to call up his wife, Sheila. We've got important things to discuss, and make sure you pose all sexy on the other end of the phone.
My darling, listen, I want you to do exactly as I tell you.
I will do what you wish and not ask why. A typical male chauvinist pig attitude.
Sheila, what did I tell you? Stop getting your news from social media. If need be, throw one of your sculptures at it in the hopes that they try having sex with it. Also, I think the machines may be affected too. We're getting to the Stephen King part of the story. I don't know how, I just know that I'm controlling these machines with my mind. Unfortunately, the infected broke into the house, and let's just say they were way more harsh with her artwork than her husband was. Even Dean hasn't gotten in touch with his wife yet, no matter how much he begs for her to just walk away from the guy she's operating on. He'll be on hold for a while. What else can we cut to? Excellent. A 1960s nudist film.
Hey, just so you're aware, there's a half-melting man watching you from the bushes, and I can only see one of his hands. He has a look that says pure lust.
And the exposition dialogue in this is, wow.
I really don't know why I'm married, Jessica Murchison.
It isn't even 3 months. And already you repent?
I'm a pacifist. You know, I hate uniforms.
I didn't need to know the entire backstory and personality of these two, but I appreciate the effort. Turns out she's General Mel Ferrer's daughter, so her dad sent the best to go get her.
I have no idea. He tried to phone you, but there wasn't any answer. He says that you're not to waste any time. I have a car outside.
It must be serious if Dad sent the cyborg army to come get me. Also, the infected know how to cut telephone wires. That's good news. It means they won't have to spend the night in jail if the police were to show up. The monsters don't need any kind of criminal record on top of their sickness. How does no one see what's going on? If the villains aren't on camera, they just don't exist, and no one can spot them in their peripherals. He has just enough time to come get his wife. I guess no one has taken any of the victims to the hospital yet. They're all clueless.
What the devil's going on today? You know, that's the 6th emergency in 2 hours.
And why do I have the same dubbed voice as the patient? They actually did get real Spanish military and police as extras, as it was all shot in Madrid. I think I know why they all show up in hordes very quickly. They're all carpooling together. Plus, they know how to knock the power out, too. I feel like that car accident was about to happen regardless. It's the end of the world. He had a few on his way home. We're doing a bad job of keeping this all under wraps.
The government insists that we not dramatize the situation or leak any news that might cause public disorder.
We're going on the theory that no one will ask questions why bloodthirsty zombies are biting the titties off the population. Things are still going well in the operating room. Operating with a flashlight will save us on the lighting budget, while Hugo is still very calm, walking where he needs to go. Swinging your arms is overrated. Did someone tell him he was playing a slasher villain? At the end of the day, though, the infected really just want to laugh.
Ain't got no body.
The more dangerous it gets, the more the theme gets rockin'. Anyone who's caught this movie referenced on our shows knows that music. The theme is by Stelvio Cipriani of Night of the Sharks and Cave of the Sharks and the Bermuda Triangle. Might have sharks in it, might not, but he also did tentacles, so something bad's in the water. Let's take another break so I can, I don't know, look up the filmography of the unit manager or something.
He has perverted the science of medicine for his own maniacal means. Dr. Butcher, MD.
We're back. Is he gonna find his wife already?
It's me, Anna. Don't be afraid.
Oh my God.
Ugh, it's you. We've been divorced years. Stop harassing me when I'm operating. I looked up the unit manager, by the way. Rodolfo Martello. He worked on something called Bad Kids of the West. Great. Who gave the youngest members of the Partridge Family guns? And if you could please ask the zombies to be quiet out there. Well, it was nice that he put on some scrubs first. These creatures are on a mission. I've searched high and low for Mountain Dew Typhoon, and I finally found some. In the midst of all this carnage, there can still be a meet cute. Aw, they're in love! Not so much in love, though, is when one has his eyes set on one particular nurse for some reason, probably because she was dumb enough to run the way that will slow her down the most. I'm also assuming I can't show all of the shots where the infected rip their tops off to find out which ones aren't wearing bras. And I also love when the people stuck in the elevator try to help out the monsters.
Why don't they wind us down? You're right. Hey, wind it down!
Oh, okay then. I know how elevators work. I'll get you all down in no time. They'll be free soon enough. On the plus side, they don't have to shit in the elevator in front of everyone. Hugo is a very flawed hero. You don't leave a man behind. Look, he took the ambulance and just left Herbie there to die. I love movies like this where it cuts to this kind of shot, and for a second I think the DVD skipped back to the beginning. More foreshadowing. Oh, and then this happens. Hey, they didn't even stop! He's back with his wife, Dr. Anna, and the helicopters are keeping an eye on this romantic chemistry.
There's only an ambulance heading out of town. Shall continue on recon.
You always know that someone will have the dubbed voice of Edward Mannix. Just like how I know someone in the cast will always be in something with a knockoff title. Anna is played by Laura Trotter, not of Last House on the Left, but Last House on the Beach. Narrows it down. There's not a lot of houses on the beach anyway. We've got a big drive. Might as well have some small talk.
It's part of the vital cycle of the human race. Create and obliterate until we destroy ourselves.
Ugh, I get it. You listen to more NPR than me. Some people are still good though. As long as you're already set up to live on the road, you'll be fine. See, knockoff Everett McGill can last a long time. Just know that the biggest tragedy is really that her weekend is ruined.
But we just arrived. I have no intention of giving up my weekend. To hell with the soldiers.
Honey, we will go to Martha's Vineyard another time. They won't be alone much longer. See, their friends have arrived. They're all safe.
Say, what's going on, huh? You two.
Hey, what are you doing with that gun?
They weren't infected. They just didn't want to have to stare at his mustache for the rest of their lives. But there's good news. Sheila has fixed her statue. And considering how many times she keeps answering the door, I'm surprised she's still in this. Even in the dubbed version, they may stumble over a line or two.
Have you tried calling Gracie? Her husband is with the Department of something or other.
How could I call?
If the screenwriters can't figure out what the department is called, then why should the characters? As long as she remembers to barricade the cellar, they'll keep the zombies out. She forgot to barricade the cellar. You know what these two won't forget though? That's right, snacks. They may be the last Pop-Tarts in existence. I am getting some. Let's cut to a commercial. If he moves really slow at trying to escape the infected, then he's gonna be even slower picking up a bag of Cheez-Its. 1984 in film is here, people. From breakdancing to farm movies to rock movies, 84 gave us the birth of the Terminator, Gremlins, Freddy Krueger, the Ghostbusters, and so much more. Now you can follow your dreams by checking out all 5 hours of 1984 in film, now posted over on Channel Awesome. We're back, and it ain't the Monroeville Mall, but this gas station will do. We live here now. Hugo has what he's been looking for the whole time. A cigarette and a spot of wild turkey. We're getting shit-faced. I think his wife, though, is the one who got the pot.
It is not the fault of science and technology, but of man.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm trying to decide who you look like more, Blake Lively or Brie Larson. No matter, like Dawn of the Dead, a stop to the gas station is the least safe thing you can do. Ah! I heard someone say shit-faced. I thought you were talking about me. I love that they're working in packs now. Come on, you knuckleheads, let's amscray. Certainly. The makeup is simplistic, but I like it. This is the movie I think of when I think of mud-faced zombies. Plus, makeup artist Franco Di Girolamo worked on Terminator 2 and Predator. By that I mean Bruno Mattei's Terminator 2 and the Predator knockoff Robo War. And on the plus side, the explosion can't make their faces look more burnt. You know, honey, on second thought, maybe it was a mistake to blow up our only vehicle. Care for a Mountain Dew live wire? Also, were the zombies trying to steal their car? And just what in the hell is with these two heroes?
They're all around us, everywhere! They're all
Stop it! Sure. The infected get good at everything fast. They're into sports now. I really don't know who's winning, sir. It's hard to find the ball. They're all just kinda elbowing each other, sir. I like this movie for a lot of reasons. It's an Umberto Lenzi film, so the cinematography is quite good. While they may not categorize it as a zombie movie, but if you do, these are some of the most ruthless and sadistic-ass zombies in one of these Italian films. Or are they vampires now?
Remember the medieval legend? If they're really vampires, they can't enter the house of God.
True, this church ain't gonna allow in these radioactive, godless atheists. And while we're not quite there yet, just wait until we get to the ending. The movie has a lot of fans too, such as Quentin Tarantino, who digs it, and even named a character in Inglourious Bastards after Hugo Stiglitz. I love how inconsistent the makeup is too, in terms of how much dirt they have on their face. Like this guy, who only has it on half of his face just for this reveal.
So much for the theory of vampires.
You were actually entertaining that theory? I was kidding. It's a very sentimental film to me too. I actually saw this at a really young age because our video store had it in that glorious City of the Walking Dead clamshell. It was the first Italian horror movie I ever saw, and I was wowed by the carnage here, an extreme level of graphic violence that's sometimes gory and other times
I am not
they may have run out of squibs and fake blood. The movie sets up for things we'd see later. Mel Ferrer is basically every name actor in an asylum film who's a general, then gets top billing and is only in it for 5 minutes. It'd definitely be Eric Roberts if it were made today. As for these two, are they lost again?
Look.
Oh, wow, we really are terrible about noticing things that are right in front of us, aren't we? How long has this theme park been here? Plus, he's got extra tickets to use at the pellet gun table. Thanks for winning me a teddy bear, but don't ever do that again! This is just what it's like at Six Flags come Halloween season. The folks in the costumes chasing you around with sharp objects. You'd be foolish not to set off stink bombs to get them away from sniffing your hair. We're getting close to the ending, people. But first, the Major has orders to pick up any of the main characters that he spots. If you love bad dummies used in movies, you're gonna absolutely love when Dean and Anna try escaping on the helicopter. And that's why we wear our seatbelts on the Screaming Eagle if you're gonna wave your hands in the air. Oh, we're at the twist, by the way. That's right, in the tradition of the greatest endings in entertainment history, like The Wizard of Oz, Newhart, Super Mario Bros. 2, Wisdom, and Femme Fatale. Don't worry about the zombies, it was all a dream. Suddenly, it's really hilarious this has the same cinematographer as Open Your Eyes. Give us the Tom Cruise remake! I love that he just goes about his day not even recognizing that all of this same stuff just happened in his dream, almost like it's reused footage. If it feels like they simply ran out of budget and didn't know how to end it, that is exactly what happened. We don't know how to top the dummy falling onto the roller coaster. Just replay the beginning and put in this title card as if it's some deep shit that's about to come true. What are you gonna do to prevent the reality of radioactive blood-sucking mutants, audience? At least now he knows what to do, right? Have the helicopter pick them up at the Tilt-A-Whirl instead. That ending makes no sense and is convoluted as hell. At least the ending of Rats took some thought. This one's just a lazy ending. That being said, it's one of the most memorable things about it, so it works in that it's given me plenty of material over the past 17 years of the show. There's even been talks for years about there being a remake, which Tom Savini was slated to direct, and it even had a successful crowdfunding campaign, but nothing has really come of it since. I'm telling you, Tom Cruise remake. If you love yourself some Italian zombie exploitation, this one's got the bloodshed, the far-out dialogue, and preposterous movie moments that you need for a fun night, as it keeps the action moving with a lot of bursts of violence. But regardless of it being a dream or not, I'm afraid that no one is still gonna help the people trapped in the elevator.
Get us out of here!
My heart feels like it's bursting. My God, why don't they hear us?